What's up, YouTube? Here with another side project of mine. This is Gishki. I've really been a fan of the deck ever since I played the Hieratic Kraken hand loop version that I posted videos on quite a long time ago. But slowly but surely over time, I've kind of DT'd, built the entire deck. There are quite a few different ways to play the deck. There's pretty much three decent ways to play the deck. This particular version is something called SoulLevia. Utilizes Soul Ogre and Levanmia as our ritual monsters for the deck. Unfortunately, Levanmia is DTO7, so it is not legal yet. The other way to play the deck revolves entirely around Zealgigus. Zealgigus is supposed to be part of DT8, something that hasn't even been printed in English yet. And the final way to play the deck is a really trolly deck out FTK thing. That particular build I don't have finished yet. The rest of the stuff is coming to me, and I should have that video on profile up sometime in the next week. But I will go ahead and get right into this build. We start off with Double Abyss. He's a Stratos for any Gishki with 1,000 or less defense. So he can search all of our other Stratos search cards pretty much of the deck, which is really, really nice. Zealgigus is a 0 defense, so at that point you'll definitely want to be running 3 Abyss, because Zealgigus is really, really heart and soul there. But for this particular build, since I don't have rituals that I can search either, I've opted to play 1 copy of Ariel instead of the 3rd Abyss. You have to set her, and she gets her search of any Gishki monster when she flips. So it's a little bit slower, but you don't always want to be like summoning an 800, which is all that Abyss is, and then grabbing a couple searches and then waiting for your next turn. It just sort of leaves you wide open. So at least you can play a little bit slower, but still get your searches off and have a little bit of defense on the board by playing the Ariel instead. Also, she's level 4, which works really well with Beast to make a lot of our Exceed plays and such like that. So I like the way she works decent with that as well. On to our pitch to search cards. 3 copies of Vision. You can pitch Vision to grab any Gishki ritual monster, as well as Vision can be used as the entire ritual tribute for a Gishki monster. We play Triple Shadow. Shadow can pull any of the Gishki ritual spells from the deck by discarding it, as well as also being the entire tribute for a Gishki monster. The last regular monster we play of the deck are 3 copies of Gishki Beast. Unfortunately, this guy got missed in our DT and got printed as an import in Photon Shockwave, so I got Japanese ones. Because I want this entire Gishki build to be completely DT'd out, which it is. This guy, when you normal him, he reborns any level 4 or lower Gishki from your graveyard and face-up defense. If you pull back Abyss, you get to search again. If you pull back Shadow or Vision, you can just tribute it off for the ritual spell to pull off a ritual monster. Or if you pull back Shadow or Ariel, you can make a rank 4 play. So really, really good for that toolbox. We play 5 rituals. The first 2 are Soul Ogre. Soul Ogre, you can pitch a Gishki monster to bounce any face-up card back to the deck, so whether it's a Zen Mains or a Maestroke or a Macrocosmos or anything like that, just bounces pesky things off the field, you know, another a Synchro, just whatever you need to get rid of, it can do. As well as being 28-28, it's a really big defense and a really big attack. The main level 8 of the deck, to make SoulLevia, is 3 copies of Levanmia. This guy is a 2700. Whenever he attacks, you reveal the top card of your deck, add it to your hand. If it was a Gishki monster, you can look at 1 random card out of your opponent's hand. This can play into some really crazy stuff with things like Spiritual Water Art and Mind Crush. This particular build doesn't do that, but the build that plays Zealgigus does. At least in my builds of it and the way I prefer to play the deck. I simply use Lev in here simply as an extra draw every time I attack. So it really keeps the advantage up while putting a lot of pressure on the opponent. The cool thing between the level 8s, you can pitch them for each other while you're making your ritual plays. And there's some pretty interesting effects that the ritual card has that allows you to essentially make your ritual summons for free. But I'll get to that once I get to the ritual spell. To finish off the monster lineup are our hand traps. We play 2 copy of Effect Veiler, 2 copy of Tragodia, and finally Gores. I think all that's pretty self-explanatory. On to spells, we play 2 Pot of Duality. With all the cards that pitch to search or summon to search that this deck has, you can duality into pieces that get you the pieces you want ridiculously easy, which makes the filter that duality lets you do become even greater. We play 3 copies of Aquamirror. This is the ritual spell for the deck. The cool thing with Aquamirror is you can add a ritual monster from your graveyard back to your hand to put the mirror back into the deck. So if you pitch one of your level 8s for one of your other level 8s, you can then add that level 8 right back to your hand and put the mirror into the deck. So it's pretty much just like add the Aquamirror back to your deck, shuffle your deck, special summon one Gishki ritual monster. Is pretty much the way that card works. So it allows you to never really run out of advantage or things to summon, as well as the fact that it's searchable. It just puts itself back to get searched over and over and over again. We play 2 copies of Lance to protect all of our stuff. You don't want our stuff dying. Where the deck gets really nutty is triple salvage, our abysses, our visions, our shadows, aerial, the beasts. Like literally every Gishki monster aside from the rituals in this deck you can add back to your hand with salvage. So you pitch vision and shadow to grab your 2 searches, you salvage them back, you pitch to search again, or pitch 1 to search and use the other as a ritual fodder. It just gets really nutty with the amount of advantage that salvage allows for the deck. To go along with the salvage is 1 copy of Avarice, add back lots of search targets and such, draw 2 cards that are going to let you search more stuff that you just put back out anyways. So Avarice is really good for the deck. 2 MSTs and Heavy Storm to help get rid of back row problems and such. And to finalize the staples, we have Mind Control, Monster Reborn, and Dark Hole. The final card of the deck is 1 copy of Treacherous Trap Hole. We play no other trap, so since Dust Shoot's illegal, the only card that we can really play that's worthwhile in that one spot, I believe, is Treacherous. Onto the extra deck. Because Visions and Abysses, as well as having Trag, are level 2, we play 2 rank 2 options, which are Gotchi and Phoenix. Aside from Mind Control and Reborn and such, I just wanted to have a couple options for rank 2 if you need to. Normally you're going into Gentetsu unless you have the push for game under Phoenix, but we have level 2, so the options should be there. The majority of the extra deck is rank 4 options thanks to the Beast engine, being able to bring back Aerial and other copies of itself and Shadow. So we play a bunch of staples, Utopia, Butterfly, Maystroke, Black Corn, Cowboy. Dweller's really awesome because we're all water, so he's always going to be a 22. Emerald, also not legal yet because it's DTO 7. It allows us to put back search stuff so we can get that extra draw. If we don't have Avarice available and there's not really a better play to make, there's no reason to not add recyclable things back to the deck and grab an extra draw. 1 copy of Shockmaster. If you've dropped Trag and then you can Beast into another level 4, you can make Shockmaster really easy that way. That's about the only way you're going to do it, aside from mind controlling a level 4 on top of a Beast play. We play 1 Heliopolis. All of our Exceeds are rank 8. So you can go into this guy. There have been a couple occasions that I've wished I played 2 Heliopolis, but for the most part I don't find that to be the case, so I'm playing the 1. I would probably play Gimmick Puppet Heartstrings if I had one, but I don't. 1 Gustav Max. We have Trags and Mind Control and Reborn, so there's our level 10s. Zilgigus is also level 10, so once we have that particular version of the deck, we can spam Gustav like none other. We play Veilers and a bunch of level 4s, so there's Cataster, and then because of Gores and Veilers, we have 2 level 8 options, which are Stardust and Scrap Dragon. Onto the side deck. We play the 3rd Veiler for things like Inzectors, Wind-Ups, etc. And 2 copies of Max C pretty much for Wind-Ups. Hieratic. Hieratic will usually push through Max C and OTK anyways, but in case they don't get the OTK off, there's no reason to have not Max C'd and drawn a bunch of cards anyways. The final 2 monsters for the side are 2 copies of Banisher. This is sort of my MVP monster side for the format. We can't protect it as well as we should be able to in this particular build, but still summoning it versus Mermail puts a lot of pressure on the board. If they don't have Dragoons to run it over or spike the Suicide, or if they're not going to waste Dark Hole, they really don't have anything they could do, and you can just poke with Banisher. None of the Gishki stuff has to hit the graveyard. It's just discard, so when this guy's active or if Macro is active, you can still use your effects and get stuff on the board. You just lose your ability to recycle them all. So keep that in mind. We play the 3rd copy of MST to take care of things like skill drain. If you're afraid of macro, I mean, macro can be problematic, but it's not horrible. 2 copies of Soul Taker in case there's just stuff that you feel that you need to take care of, whether it's Shinings or Pulsars or Thunder King can be really problematic. So We play one Close Forest. Necro Valley really can hurt this deck with the recycle portion of it, as well as things like Dark World. This just totally sucks, so you got to be able to hurt Dark World where you can. 2 Debunks. Like I've said before, Debunk hits like everything right now. I love the card, whether it's Megalo or Priestess or Wind Up Shark or Pitching Grapha or any of the other Dark Worlds, or Trag or Gores or Veiler or Maxi. Debunk is just really infinitely versatile versus taking care of huge problem boss monsters out of decks. 2 copy of Gozen Match. Everything is water, so we can play around that so long as we avoid the extra deck. Really, really easy. Which can put a lot of hurt on like Samurai and Wind-Ups and things like that. As well as Macro Rabbit. Or then finally is 2 copies of Decree for things, again, like Skill Drain or Macro, or just anything with a lot of back row. There's no, we have plenty of room that we can play 2 copies of Decree in place of the Treacherous and such. So that's the build. Let me know what you guys think. Comment, rate, subscribe. Be prepared for another Gishki video next week on the FTK build. And until then, you probably won't see another Gishki video until we have Zilgigas out of the next DT, whenever that's supposed to be. So otherwise, stay in tune. Comment, rate, subscribe. I'll talk to you guys later. Peace out.